Welcome into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters. We are coming to you from the Hooters Owl's Nest. Casey Phillips here with Shaq Barrett. Shaq, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure to hang out and talk a little bit about football and other stuff.
That's awesome. Yes, we will get to both of those things, the football and the other stuff with you. First, we got to talk a little bit about that game, which I know was a big bummer, not the outcome we were hoping for. So what was the message after the game from coaches, and then even just as you as a leader, what the message you guys are kind of wanting to have around the locker room right now?
So the message with the coaches is we play hard. We have amazing effort. That's not the problem at all. We just got to be more disciplined and detail-oriented, and I think that's exactly what it is, because we be in the right position a lot, or sometimes we blow coverages or miss out gaps, miss out reads. So once we able to focus in a full 60 minutes of a football game, or even 50 minutes, just like the right 50 minutes, we'll be able to get a win. But we still got hope around the locker room. Us guys, leaders and captains on the team, we just trying to make sure we all stay together, because we're still in position to be exactly where we wanted to be at the end of the year. And that sounds really crazy to think about after starting off the way we started, then a bad second quarter of the season. But I mean, it's been tough. I ain't gonna lie, it's been tough. I hate losing so much. But I think we still got a good group of guys, and they're the guys that we need around us. We just got to put it together, and it's going to be really, 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 really beautiful once we actually get that done for a full game.
This is why you're one of my favorites. I can tell that losing is destroying you, but you're also smiling at the same time. And I'm like, this is why you're one of the best guys in the locker room, that you care, you hate losing, but you still are able to put a smile on your face no matter what's going on. How about just looking at this game for the defense overall? What do you feel like are some of the big takeaways? And then for outside linebackers as well, kind of those two different groups, what do you feel like now that you've gotten a chance to look at some of the film?
So as a defense, takeaways is, like, we swarm to the ball. Everybody usually on the field get to the ball, try to make the play. We like you said, we play hard with the effort. Outside linebackers, we play pretty good. Joe was able to get to him, and then Collage not outside linebacker, but he was able to get to him too. I think we got pretty steady pressure throughout the game. We just got to make the big game-changing plays, man, and we haven't been able to make those. So once we're able to make them game-changing plays with anybody on the defense, like DBs, inside backers, D-line, then that's what will help our team go up to the next step, next level. Like in my position group, we can be more than responsible for a lot of those plays. So hold us to that standard, and I think we're going to get it done eventually.
Yeah, we knew that they've got a pretty potent run game. Jonathan Taylor, talented guy. What were some of the struggles you guys felt like you had, or what are some of the things that you feel like now, hindsight 2020, looking back, could have been a little different?
I think so they made us have to be real disciplined in our gaps. And sometimes it might look like the running back was going to the right, B gap or something like that. Then he'd bounce it all the way back to the left C gap, and then we'll start pursuing over there and get out our gap. So we had to be real disciplined when we was trying to play them guys. And their running backs, they were patient, explosive. They juke you, finesse you. I don't think they run very powerful, but they was real good finesse backs, and they was able to find the gaps whenever we got out of our holes. And that's just what it is. Like what Bowles be saying, we got to be disciplined out there. We got to be locked in and focused mentally. And we had too many plays where we don't get that done. And you see, that's why we're at 4-7 right now.
Yep. And I know you brought up Joe Tryon-Schwenka getting a sack. That's his, I think, fourth this season. So take us through that play and what he did well.
Oh, man, Joe, he set it up perfectly. It was a play that we, going into the game, knew that it could work if we set it up perfectly. Joe was aligned, I think, on the left side of the center, and stun it to the right A-gap and make the center thought he was going that way. Then the 3-tech and the end collapsed down on that whole side, and Joe was able to wrap around. The back was coming, but he just hit the back and was able to get the quarterback on the outside, bring him down for a big third down stop.
And I know that for him, he's been here a few years now. It had kind of an unconventional start in terms of missed time with COVID and getting drafted that year. And where have you seen kind of his growth since coming in, and then his season overall in terms of, I know sometimes he hasn't been putting up some of the numbers that he would maybe want or expects of himself, but what are some of the things that you feel like you see him doing out there and areas of growth?
So number-wise, like we all in the same boat right now. We all feel the same way. Like I think our defense, offense, all collective as a whole. Personally, we don't think we're doing what we want to do personally, but individually, I see Joe growing a lot. Just this last game, like I don't think he had too many rushes where he didn't affect the quarterback or get to the quarterback this last game, and him just trusting what got him here, like relying on his speed off the edge and then turn it into a long arm and power. That's how he succeeded a lot this last game, and I love to see it. I love to see it.
That's awesome. And then Yaya got his first start of the year. He's been a guy that's just been kind of consistently earning more and more snaps, more and more reps with his production. What was it like to see him get in there and get his first start, as a rookie?
I'm excited for Yaya. Like you've been saying it from training camp on that he's going to be able to help our team. He's going to be a big part of our defense from now on all the way up until however long he's here for. But it just his personality. He's a great person, and then his work ethic on the field, and then his pass rush moves, like it's so consistent that if he catch the tackle off balance just a little bit, it's going to work and he's so consistent with it. I just love like the way he set it up and his power off of it. So when people see Yaya, they're going to assume he's strong and powerful, and he is. So when he come out there and do his rush, he could throw you up the field, come under, throw you inside and go outside. And I think he's going to have a lot of success doing that and building off of that.
So knowing that, he does definitely have kind of that power side of his game, what are some of the other things that you feel like he is still learning, could grow in, or ways that maybe you're trying to teach him and help him, knowing that you got a whole arsenal at your disposal? So how are you maybe trying to help him, or what are the things that he's trying to add to his game so that it is as multidimensional as possible?
So as of right now, I think his game is like pretty well-rounded right now, but I think him coming from Louisville, where he was more of an inside guy, he got to get used to giving himself some space on the tackle and stop aligning a little too close on the tackle, because it makes that job a little bit easier for him. So if you get out a little wider, they're going to have to kick out a little bit, give you a little space to work and create for yourself. So once he's able to do that consistently, which he's been getting better at, and he's going to continue to take off skyrocket. And I don't see too much as of right now that he needs to work on to get better. Like you can't really add new moves in the season. You got to do it in the off season. So you probably could add a couple finesse moves in there, but right now it's not the right time to do it. You ain't got enough time to perfect it and get it down right now.
It was funny because we had Tristan on our show recently, and he was talking about how he's been trying to kind of help Yaya as well when they have to go up against each other, and giving him some tips or techniques. And he said that he gave him one, and then Yaya used it against him in practice and beat him. And he was like, wait a minute, man, this isn't how this is supposed to go. Don't use it against me.
Yeah, so I guess he do got some time to get it down right. But I did see him, we was over there working with the O-line a couple times, the last couple of weeks. And I saw him talking to Yaya one-on-one, so that was good to see, because Tristan is a top one tackle in this NFL, and getting advice from him going to help you take your game to another level for sure. And then beating him like he said he did in practice, that'll give you some confidence.
Yeah, that'll work, man. How about for you? What is it like going against guys like Tristan for you, since he's come into the league, and are there ways that he's made you better, or that you guys have been able to learn off of each other? Because I know he said that going against you was definitely one of his kind of welcome to the NFL moments. So how did you feel now going against him?
Going against Tristan started off beautifully for me. It was going so good for me every day. But me, coming up with the Broncos, Vaughn was saying, you got to get the guys that you're going against ready, because we're going to count on them out there. So that's what I was trying to do with Tristan, get them ready to see everything possible. So I was starting everything I had at him. And it was working for probably about 2 weeks. And then after that, it became a lot harder to solve the Tristan Wirfs puzzle. And it still is to this day. So Tristan grew so much in such a quick matter of time. And I'm glad that he's on our team, because I would hate to have to go against him play in, play out. Because you really gotta work, and I do it already, gotta game plan and come in with a strategy against tackles, but you gotta come up and then your best laid plans still gonna go around against Tristan, because he's that good. So I'm glad he's on our team, and I'm glad that he's here to help us get better as well.
That's awesome. And I know we're talking to Shaq Barrett. When we asked Yaya about you, or we asked him about the guys in the room overall. We were like, tell us about the different guys, what you've learned and everything. And he was like, well, Anthony Nelson this and so this. And he was like, and I mean, Shaq is Shaq. And he said it in this way, like it was just like this. You were just inevitable of like, well, obviously he's incredible. What is it like to hear that a young guy, a rookie in your room, that's all he has to say about you even? It's just, yeah, Shaq is Shaq, man.
I feel good. I appreciate it, man. I feel the same way about him, too, because Tristan is Tristan. Like, Tristan don't give up anything. You're going to have to work every single play to possibly beat him, and you still might not win. Like, it's so much, like, yeah, he's gifted. Like, Tristan is gifted for sure.
And to know that you have a younger room in terms of your other outside linebackers. You're the leader, the elder statesman, the guy. I'm not going to call you old, just the leader of the room. What are the ways that you feel like you try to help that room and the ways that you try to be that leader in the room and the ways that you feel like you can influence, especially when you do have an up-and-coming rookie like Yaya?
Yep. So I just, like, on the field, in games, just try to keep them, like, pretty much locked into the important stuff. Like, I know every time we go out there, we're going to have a bad play every once in a while. Sometimes you get down on yourself, and then they let one play turn into 2-3 plays. So I try to tell them, like, yeah, you got to let that go. Like, man, we got to come out here and make up for that, like, that bad play. We got time to make up for it. And that's all I always tell myself. Like, if I do something wrong, like, I got to go up and make up for that play. And, like, this past week, Yaya was mad on the sideline. I told him, like, go out there, use that angle on the field, make whoever you're going against pay, and it will definitely help you feel better. So, as, like, I just try to give him advice like that. And then if it is pass rush moves that I can help out with, I would try to do that for sure, too. But I'm, like, try to give him, like, some advice that I received or advice that I should have received or thought I could have used back then when I was coming up. So that's what I try to do. Just stay in their ears, keep them going down the positive road, and just like maintaining whatever it is we doing and going through. Because if you going like we got the path that we go to, and if you just keep doing the right thing and try to make the right decision every time, you end up going to more than likely end up where you need to be at and where you want to be at. So I just try to keep them going on that path.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters. We are coming to you from the Hooters Owl's Nest. Casey Phillips here with Shaq Barrett. So I hate to make you even relive this, but the injury. Let's talk about this. What do you remember? Because now you're past it. Now you're playing high level. What do you remember about the injury and kind of in that moment realizing what had happened to you?
So initially, I felt though it was my Achilles, but then I was thinking, it don't hurt. Like, if it's going to be a season-ending injury, it should be probably a lot more painful than this. So I got up. Well, first of all, it was a play. I went to go reach for a tackle. I felt like somebody kicked me. And I remember a lot of the stories people say who tear their Achilles, it felt like somebody kicked them. So I instantly thought that, but then I'm like, no, it don't hurt bad enough. So I got up, was getting ready to walk. But I'm on this hash. I was sidelined all the way over there. I'm like, I'm not going to make it in time. So I sat down. Trainers came. Did a little test on me, and I'm pretty much I already knew what it was, but I was pretty devastated at that time.
So they told you right then on the field?
Once I got in the tent, they told me, but I kind of already knew what it was. But, like, the lack of pain was astounding. Like, I didn't feel any pain from the injury. I felt it the night of the surgery, and then the day after the surgery, I felt a lot of pain. But after that, it went back to no pain at all. But I was hindsight now, so I'm so grateful for that injury because I got to spend a lot more time with my family and my daughter who passed away. So I was able to take that as it was a blessing in disguise to be able to have Christmas, because I know we had a Christmas game last year. And then Thanksgiving.
In Arizona, yeah.
I don't know about Thanksgiving, but I was on for Thanksgiving anyway the whole day. So it was a good 3-4 months that I got to spend extra with my daughter.
Wow. This is something I love about you. What an incredible way to find a silver lining in an injury that makes so many people have such a negative view and to go through such dark times, which is also very understandable too. So what do you remember about the rehab process? Was there for you I'm sure the fact that it didn't hurt, maybe that changed a lot of what your expectations were of yourself in rehab. But I know a lot of guys, they have a serious injury. There start to be am I going to come back? Am I going to be the same version of myself? What were some of the most challenging parts of the rehab, either physically or mentally?
So physically is like having your ankle stay right in this position for 2 weeks, then you slowly raise it up for another 2 weeks, but then it still gets stiff and all the joints in there. Like I still be having to do treatment for that. Like every game day, I get a piezo wave to help break up the scar tissue in there. But honestly, my Achilles, I never feel my Achilles like ever. But mentally, I did have a little thought or two every once in a while. Like, man, am I gonna come back and be able to be the same player? I didn't know, but after hearing the stories of people coming back in 5 months, 5.5 months, I knew I had 8, 9, 10 months to come back, and so I wasn't really worried about it in my mentally, because I'm like, man, if he came back in 5 months and I got 9 months, I should be more than willing to go and ready to go. So I was able to trust it pretty much fully right away because doctor told me, like, it's better, surgically repaired is better than what I had before, and then a chance of repair.
You got the super Achilles now.
It was super low, so I just trusted it fully. But that, like, the no pain, like, that was like a blessing for me as well, because if I felt it every day, it would probably put a little bit more hesitancy in my head and make me a little bit more nervous to go out there and try it. But conditioning, I was so out of shape after all that time. And then they run you so much in the training room. Like, they ran me so much, but it was all beneficial and all I needed. And it helped me get to where I'm at right now. And it was one setback when I, like, pulled my hammy a little bit running. And I think I was on, like, my last rep of running, like, coming down the last 20 yards, I felt it pull. So that was a little bit defeating and disheartening because it felt like it was putting my timetable back. Even though it wasn't, I still had a lot of time. But I felt like me having to take a week or 2 weeks off was going to hurt my cardio because I worked so hard to get this cardio.
I do not want to have done this running for nothing.
So I was able to bounce back from that relatively quick in like a week or two. And then from there on, I just been adding more and adding more to the table. But I couldn't wait to get out the trainer. And they worked me so hard. They worked me so hard. And I'm 246, 247 right now. Or this off season, I probably was recovering at like 250, 255. So I'm not built to do all that running. I was doing a lot of running.
You're like, this is why I play the position I play. I'm not playing wide receiver out there. I'm not about this deep route here. That's pretty funny. Do you feel like pre-injury Shaq at this point?
Yeah, I feel the best I felt in a long time, honestly. Even though I usually play around 240, 245. I've been playing around like 245, 248 this year. But it's because I did put on a little more muscle. I've been lifting a lot this off season in there with Chad, AP, MJ, all them guys in there, and Gal in there as well. So I feel as good as I felt in a long time. I mean, that's why I'd be so disappointed in myself because my numbers don't show that, though. I be wanting, like, so it'd be hard for people to believe, probably hard for me to believe sometimes. Like, yeah, you can't be feeling this good, but then you go out there and not underperform. I still perform. Like, I think I'm doing good in my performances, but, like, statistically I'm underperforming. I don't like that.
What do you think? I'm sure you've sat there then and thought about this, of why you think the numbers aren't reflecting the way you feel like you play. Do you have an answer for that at this point? Because, yeah, I mean, you're still playing at an incredibly high level even. And I know sometimes some of those numbers, whether it's sacks or turnovers, things can be kind of, I don't know if fluky is the right word, but it takes a little bit of circumstances all kind of going the right way. Does it feel like sometimes it's just the weird fluky circumstances, or are there things that you feel like you've been able to pinpoint as to why it's been happening?
So sometimes it's just circumstances like rushing, coverage not working in sync together. Sometimes I miss sacks. And then sometimes it might be a little level of hesitancy. I'm like, man, not even hesitancy, but just if I would have did something a little quicker or was one step faster doing stuff, that come in my head a lot. But it's a lot that go on to it. I'll be frustrated thinking about it.
I can tell. Again, still smiling, but still very frustrated, which I love. So for you, what do you feel like you do best out there? What is the Shaq Barrett bread and butter when you're rushing or when you're playing out there?
If I know we pass rushing, like I got the mentality that I'm going to come through every time. Like, when we need it, I'm going to come through every time. It don't happen that way, but mentally, like, I'm prepared in my head to make the play whenever we need a play made, which is, I think we always need plays. Like, that's why I be trying to make every play out there. But that's just my mentality, the dog that I have in me that I bring out. Like, no way that I'm supposed to lose a one-on-one if it's one person blocked me, I feel like I should beat that every time. And then just knowing if it's past, pinning my ears back and rushing. Like, I don't think we had too many opportunities that this year because we always been in such close games and we've been having to fight it out and claw and scratch to get on top and get a victory. So I think that is a little bit reason why we haven't been able to like actually focus on pass rush and just go. But it's like then it's frustrating because then you look around the league and you see other teams who like teams don't like they haven't been playing that good defensively, but you got their pass rushers on that team might have 6, 7, 8 sacks, 10 something like I don't understand. Like how does he get these many opportunities? But yeah, it's just a lot. I just be trying not to like let too much stuff get in my mind mentally because I know it's only so much I control, and I still gotta take my little wins when I have my little wins because I used to be bad at like just always seeing the bad and everything or what I could have did better. Even if I did have a good game, still trying to like, man, I missed that 1 sec. Look what I gotta do to get better from that, and not even thinking about all the rest of the stuff good I done in the game. So I'm a little bit better giving myself some grace.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I think you deserve that. You have one of my favorite stories of your journey from high school all the way up through the NFL. It's just such an interesting approach. Like you have some guys that, they were always the 5-star recruit. They went to the big D1 school and they got drafted, first round. Like there's the easy kind of route, the traditional route, shall we say. You did not have that. First of all, before we start, you also wrestled in high school, right?
Yes.
Did you win state?
Yes.
Look at that. Look at you. Like you just could have done all the things. Do you feel like your wrestling influenced your football in the way? Because I think about that with Tristan Wirfs as well. And I think about the two of you guys out there, the Clash of the Titans going against each other as two former wrestlers as well. Do you feel like it influenced it?
Yeah, wrestling helps with hands and like hips, like being able to turn and get low, like knee bend. But I think, it helped the most with my hands, like being in hand fights with the like in wrestling, grab and wrist control, stuff like that, knowing how to get them off you. So it helped my pass rush a lot. And I think that's what, like, one of my best pass rush moves is like double swipe or fake ball, then like swipe them out the way. And I think that comes down from wrestling.
But then you started football when you were really young, right? Like how old?
6.
6. And then did I hear you won a Pop Warner National Championship too?
Yeah, we came down to Orlando and played a couple games, and we won, 2-3 games down there and won the national championship down there. I think it almost didn't happen though because in the regionals before we came down here, we used to kick field goals. Field goals was worth 2 points. So our snapper got sick or something, and I had to fill in snapping. And I made a mistake and snapped the ball over the holder's head, but it went straight to the kick, and he ran it in, and we ended up winning by like 1 point
You're
that
like,
game.
just like we drew it up.
Yeah.
That was the plan all along.
Like I snapped it, put my head, your head down. I just kept my head down and looked down like, man, I already know I messed up. But I heard everybody cheering. He ended up running it in. And
so you got some respect for Zach Trenner and his job here. Yeah.
They tried to put me at center for a little bit in like high school, but I couldn't do it. Like, because I was so aggressive to try to go get my block that the snap would be all messed up. So I played center for like 1 game. Yeah, it's hard to snap the ball and go block.
Also, did I hear your team was called the Buccaneers that you won the championship with? Look at that. You were just meant to be here. So high school, I know that football was maybe not as inevitable. An NFL career was not as inevitable in high school. And you even transferred high schools because essentially football wasn't the top priority, wasn't going real well. Is that a decent way to put it?
Yeah, just football and just discipline. I wasn't really disciplined too much when I was my last, 2 years in Baltimore, my 9th grade year, my 10th grade year of high school. My dad used to take us to all the practices, and once I had to start doing it on my own, I didn't do it. So I probably wouldn't have played football like in 10th grade year if I wouldn't have transferred. Well, I played the 10th grade year, but 11th grade year if I wouldn't have transferred to Boys Town.
And so tell us about Boys Town and the decision to transfer there and what that ended up meaning to you.
So Boys Town was a boarding school, and my brother went 2-3 years before I went, and he was doing good out there. Found a lot of success, and I always wrestled with the idea because we was always the closest in age. We always did everything together. Since he left, I wrestled with the idea. Then football turned time for me to start relying on myself to get to practice and do everything. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just go out there. And I ended up going out there. My mom was okay with it. My dad, like, because it was like more of a disciplinary school. My dad knew I didn't need to be there because I didn't have no discipline problems or anything. So he was a little mad at me for going out there. But he came around pretty quickly. And it helped me out a lot, like school-wise, sports-wise, and then becoming a better person as well. It taught me a lot of fundamentals for football, wrestling, a lot of discipline, and like brought out more of a physical, like football player and wrestler.
What was that like to move out in high school, to be at a boarding school, to not be living at home and with family? What did that do for you, and what was that like? And was it concerning, scary, exciting?
It was a little concerning, little scary, also exciting too because it was time for me to like go out a little bit and be more dependent on myself a little bit more. I still had my brother there too, so I still had family. We was pretty close. Like I'm close with all my siblings and everything, but we was probably just a little bit closer because we was always in the same school, same grade, and lived together for the longer period of time. But it was also breath of fresh air because Baltimore is rough, tough, and then Nebraska, you go out there, everybody's so much friendlier, the air smell cleaner, feel nicer out there. You ain't got to watch your bag, just going to school. So it was nice to transfer and go out there and just be a little bit more dependent on myself.
Yeah, it's a bit of a culture shock, I'm guessing.
Yes, it was. It was a real big culture shock. Walk down the street, like, hey, how you doing? Talking to me.
What I do?
And Baltimore, you just go walk around, got your hood on, just look at your phone, look down, and just walk. Because the schools I went to, we beef with other schools for no reason. Just because you went to that school, y'all don't like each other. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So then you're getting out of high school. You've done really well in football now that you've transferred over there. But your offers are to Nebraska Omaha, which is D2, or North Dakota, which was the FCS program.
Yep.
We're not talking, again, no D1 things. Those were your two options. What made you decide between those two? How did that process go and starting out there?
Being young and dumb. Because looking back at it, like North Dakota was offering me a full ride scholarship, but they told me they wanted me to redshirt my first year, like guaranteed redshirt no matter what I did. I'm like, nah, I don't want to just practice without playing. So Nebraska Omaha offered. My brother was going to be there for college and wrestling in college there. And then I still had somewhat of a support system for my Boys Town family. So I'm like, I just go there on a partial scholarship. And I wasn't fully ready to be out on my own by myself without anybody there yet. So ended up being the right decision, though. But I just wasn't ready to be by myself. I still wanted to be a little codependent on my brother and my Boys Town family.
I like that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have more on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters. We are coming to you from the Hooters Owl's Nest. Casey Phillips here with Shaq Barrett. We were just hearing about your football journey that got you to this point. So you choose Nebraska Omaha. You had changed your mind, which I think originally you had planned to go to North Dakota. You changed your mind, which then meant which Nebraska Omaha had given your scholarship away. So then you have to put yourself through school while playing football, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I said I was gonna go to North Dakota because of the full scholarship. Then I'm like, no, it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like perfect. It didn't feel like home. I made the right decision, so I did. Ended up calling the coaches back at UNO. They said you can still come to the team as a walk-on because we don't have no more scholarships. Even they only did partial scholarships in the first place. So I had the Boys Town gave me like a $5,000 a year scholarship that helped out. Loans, and I didn't care back about loans. Like, man, just make my life a little easier right now.
Free money.
Yeah, and I'll worry about the rest of it later. So I got some loans, Pell Grant. So it made it a little bit easier. But, yeah, it sucked that I couldn't get a scholarship. And then when I was about to get a scholarship, we dropped the football program. So
that was my next question. You go to this school to play football, and then suddenly you wake up one morning and they're like, by the way, we're not going to have a football program anymore.
Yeah, it was very blindsiding because my brother had called me that night. And he told me like they just won a national championship. He's like, yeah, they dropping the wrestling program and the football program. I'm like, you sure? Like, you sure they ain't just wrestling? Like, don't drop my program. So he told me that. Then my coach called me the next morning and said, like, yeah, we gonna help y'all find these schools and stuff. But yeah, the football program and the wrestling program is being dropped because they was going to D1, but the conference they was going to, football and wrestling wasn't a sanctioned sport. So yeah, I had to start my whole college hunt over again, and I had what, Colorado State, Missouri State, and then I actually had the U calling for a little bit too. So that was my top 3 offers. But there was so many other schools that called. Like once I had it, like I guess I had 2. I didn't have 2 phones, but I had an old phone. I turned it back on. It had like 30, 40 messages from all these different teams. But I only considered Colorado State, Missouri State, and U.
That's crazy. So then you technically went to 4 schools in 5 years between high school and college, early on, which is insane. Then also you end up learning that you're going to have a kid when you're in college. Not long after hearing that the program would be closed. I'm sure this was quite a 1-2 little thing to find out here. Some major life changes going on. What was that like to end up having a kid while you're in college, while you guys are trying to put yourself through school and make some of these decisions? What was that like at that point in your life?
It was challenging for sure, but we was trying to have a kid. Surprisingly, like we young and dumb. Like why was we trying to have a kid? We ain't got nothing going on for ourselves. But we was actually trying, and like my wife, like I stayed at home, so I didn't have to like stay in the dorm rooms or nothing. So I would get like a little check for that, and then my wife would work 2-3 jobs, and we'd make it happen. We knew every month we had a rent paid. We had like cell phone and internet, and then if we had to go with like in like water bill and stuff like that. But if we had to go without something, we'd go without cell phones or something. But we didn't really have to go without anything. But if we had it, we like, all right, we'll go without this for a little bit until we get right. But we had like, even though I'm out of school now from being out of school for a while, Boys Town, they would like help out every now and again with the rent, even though it was illegal. Probably it was illegal back then. But I didn't tell them that, and then they didn't have to communicate with the school. They just talked to our landlord and stuff. So that helped out a lot too and helped us get by. But it was fun having a kid. We had my teammates come over, Jordana friends come over. They come hang out with. It was my oldest son, big fella at the time. But it was still also challenging because I was so young. He would cry. One night he was crying. I didn't know what to do. Jordana at work. People above us in the apartment above us making a lot of noise. I called Jordan. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was breaking down. Like, it was so, like, I was frustrated for sure. That's probably one of my worst nights is, like, having a kid and not knowing what to do when they crying. It was fun times.
I love it. So then also, again, you're not drafted. Again, one more step in this unconventional route here of after all these schools, after all this stuff that you've gone through, after all the crying children, you don't get drafted. You get signed by the Broncos as a free agent and put on the practice squad. And I remember you'd said you were not thrilled about the idea of redshirting in college where you practice and don't play. I'm guessing you weren't thrilled about that in the NFL level either. What was that like to you realize this, dream of being in the NFL, but you're not sure if it's going to work, if it's going to stick, having to be on the practice squad that whole first year, never getting in a game. What made you stick with it?
Just trying to do the right thing and just keep pursuing my goals and my dreams. Because it's easy to get deterred and, like, go the other way. But if I facing all these challenges and I keep trying to do the best thing, like what I think is best in them situations, that I would persevere and then get an opportunity at some point in time. Even if it never came, at least I could say I did, like, the best I could or thought I did. Did what was right the whole time. So that's all it was, just persevering through, having my wife in my corner, giving me motivation and stuff. Having my position group, Vaughn, D-Ware, Laurente, Shane. We had so many people, like, all on my boys, Dora, Jeff. Like, it was so many people that came through there who like just made it easier, just because with the camaraderie and the friendship that we had and the bond that we had, made it easier to go out there and just want to go out there and put it all on the line for them guys. And we had that relationship with everybody on the team. Like, everybody talked to each other. Everybody hung out with each other. Everybody was we was all part of the same clique, and that was the Broncos. Like we all like, yeah, it was nice to have that like camaraderie. And I think we pretty close to having that here. Like we really close. That's the closest it's ever been from Denver to another team. I've only been here like no other team besides here, but I think this is really close. But practice squad sucked. It sucked, but in hindsight, it was very beneficial because I got to go against the one offensive tackles, work on my moves, work on like becoming more confident of a pass rusher, and just getting to study under the guys I got to study under who pretty much.
Yeah, Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, not a bad duo to learn under.
So that helped my game out a lot. So it was actually the best thing that could have happened for me or to me, but I was not a fan of it. I was so disappointed.
And so I think you did make some changes after that year to say, like, all right, enough of this. Did you, like, change? Was it your diet? Was that one of your biggest things that you changed after that year?
I think I went from coming out of college at, like, 20% body fat to probably coming back at, like, 12% that second off season or that first off season. And just playing faster, playing more confident. That helped me get a role on the team, and then making plays in the preseason, help get the trust of the coaches and the trust of the players. And then once I got that opportunity, I just was trying to make a play every time I got out there. And it didn't happen every time, but I made enough plays where I became a kind of a guy, a role player guy for the Broncos that everybody liked.
That's great. And then I know we're talking to Shaq Barrett here. You've now been on 2 different Super Bowl teams. Mm-hmm. And with 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. What is that like to sit back and think about for you? Like, you've had experiences that 99% of players would kill for in that way, of to this point of, after all this unconventional stuff we've talked about of how crazy it was that you got to this point, to have now played with 2 of the best quarterbacks ever and won 2 Super Bowl rings. What is that like?
It's an amazing feeling because every once in a while we'll sit back and think about it like, dang, I won one with Peyton and I won one with Tom. And I only know maybe one other guy that was on the Broncos who like left us and went the next year after we won the Super Bowl next year and won one with the Patriots. Like, dang, he lucky. He fortunate. I wish I could do something like that.
And then lo and behold, you did.
But like they both was really good guys, like down to earth. I know coming in there thinking like the players, they legends. Like I'm thinking they gonna hold themselves like. You know, I'm still a kid. I'm young. I don't know. Thinking they going to treat themselves like they all this and that, but they really just normal people. And coming into the NFL, I didn't know how the stars would act or the stars would treat other guys on the team. But Peyton, like, was so cool. Tom was so cool. I'm like, you got to see a lot of that personality, how funny they were. Like, man, just seeing them on a day-to-day basis and how they were, like, then compared to how they were, like, not compared to, but how they were then, and then just the level they excelled at, like, man, like, that's cool to see that they still just like us, but they great on the football field. So it was real cool to see and then to be a part of it.
And then you came in here and, man, you break the Bucs franchise record for sacks in a season, your first season with the team. Mm-hmm. That's pretty incredible to break a franchise record your first season with a team. What do you remember about that year and kind of what all came together to make that happen for you?
So that was a great year. I remember a lot about that year. I remember a lot. But I just remember just playing free and loose and just trusting my instincts and just leaning on my instincts and just being a playmaker. And I think I still do that. I still do that now. But I think sometimes I do second guess myself sometimes. Way more than I did back then because I didn't do it at all. Whatever.
Again, the young and dumb. There's a lot of pros to this young and dumb thing you were talking about.
Yeah, it is some pros for sure. But I think that 2019 season, yeah, like you said, it's one for the record books. It was amazing. I just had the right people around us. We had our offense, even though we was 7-9, our offense was scoring a lot of points. We was winning games, blowing out teams. I don't know if we was blowing out teams, but it felt like we was blowing out teams because of just the big plays we was making constantly, offensively and defensively. It was a great year. It was a great year to be a Buc, and Personally, not like individually,
Yeah.
not team wise, because I hate not making. I won't trade all of them, but I trade like a sack or two, long as I'm still in the league to go to the playoffs that year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I love winning more than anything, and I was most definitely trade any of my sacks in this year. I only got 4 arm anyway for some wins. But I love that year. It was a good year, and hopefully I could finish out this year somewhere similar to any part of that year, because it was a good year throughout.
That's great. And so now also I'd love to hear, what are the most annoying things that offensive linemen do?
Don't wash their gloves and punch you in the face. That smell be right there for so long after. I'm like, smell my glove. I know it ain't my gloves, but But no, that's just our offensive lineman at practice.
Oh, that's just here. That's
yeah. I'm like, y'all know y'all could get new gloves, and they got more gloves.
So for Christmas, are we getting them all new gloves?
Shoot,
is that what needs to happen?
It's not
Nothing
even
like
about
a passive-aggressive Christmas present.
We gotta get rid of the old gloves, because new gloves ain't gonna do the job. We gotta make sure they don't have no option but to wear them. Yeah. But I don't like when we go against the offensive linemen. Sometimes we might get a hands to the face. We might do it, but when they do it, they like, as long as they let it go right away. But like, nah, like y'all got to call it.
The double standard.
Yeah. And then they get to hold a little. I get held by offensive line. Like, that's the most annoying thing. It's been better like the last 3 or 4 games, but early in the season I was being held so much. And then they be doing like, grab you right, hold you right here. They always try to be sneaky and get away with it. And
sneaky.
Yeah, so I don't like that, just that little stuff. I don't care about all the like being with like football players, normal stuff that happen. I don't care about that. I just don't like being held. I know I'm gonna get held, but I need my obvious holds to be called. Like if I'm about to get it right through and I'm about to make a play and he hold me, I need that call. Like just give me the obvious ones. I don't need everyone, because I know you ain't gonna get everyone.
Right.
And can't see them all anyway. But yeah, just give me my obvious holds.
And so who do you think are the hardest guys to go against? Whether, I mean, it could be an offensive lineman or a running back or whoever comes to your mind of, this is kind of a matchup you might have this week. What are the guys that you're like, ooh, that's going to be rough?
Tristan.
yeah.
If I had to like go against Tristan, but who else? Tyron Smith. Like when he's on, like Tyron Smith, he's most definitely a hard matchup. Who else? I don't really worry about like the running backs and stuff like that, because I don't be in open field, open space too much. I had to tackle them guys. So usually I'm coming from an angle or something like that. But if it was in open space, it'd be a lot of guys I worry about.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, we have one more segment coming up here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters. We are coming to you from the Hooters Owl's Nest. Casey Phillips here with Shaq Barrett. We were talking about the hardest offensive linemen to go against. How about some guys that you enjoy watching at your position? Either guys you grew up watching, guys you love watching now. Mm-hmm. Who are some of those names?
I didn't really grow up watching too many pass rushers. I was more of a running back, quarterback type of guy. I watched Vic. I like Work Done. Ray Lewis, Ad Reed, the Baltimore. Like I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right now, I like watching, Gard, Parsons, White. Who else? I like Hassan Reddick. There's a lot of guys I like. It's not. I just watch them and just get a little motivation, a little inspiration. I see let me add that to my game, or something that I see them doing that I might not be doing or might forgot to do. And I gotta make sure I go back and start doing that again. And that's why I like our position, because we got a lot of good guys out there, a lot of great pass rushers out there, and there's more than enough. It's more than they know so much. So I could always feel like I could keep learning from them guys. I could always keep learning from them.
I know that for you guys as a defense, having Levante out there, and we know we definitely missed him this last week. Mm-hmm. He has been playing at such a crazy level all year, especially for what year in the league this is for him. Mm-hmm. What do you miss when he's not out there, and just what has it been like watching his level of play this year?
Oh, it's been amazing. Watch T. It was one play. I mean, Coach Bose was pretty much going at everybody except Vontae. He's like, look at Vontae. He running at a whole totally different speed than everybody out there. But that's how we missed that playmaking, that fat. Once he see what he see, he bursts to the ball and go make a play. So that playmaking, and then his passion for the game and just knowing his knowledge too. Like just being out there communicating everything and communicating with everybody. We miss that for sure. And I don't know how long he's gone, but we most definitely can't wait to have him back because tell you, like he has been playing at a real high level for a really, really long time.
And then you
My
have
bad, really long time.
really. Oh, okay. That's our way of calling him old without calling him old. I love it. And then you have Vita and Kalijah Cansey in there next to each other on the defensive line. I mean, we've known what Vita is for years now. Like this guy's just killing, especially on the sack front. And then you get Kalijah in there getting some, and as a rookie, even when he had a lot of injuries earlier in the year. Yeah. What's it been like watching the two of them play next to each other, and what does that mean for you guys as a defensive front as a whole?
Yeah. So. Yeah, we know Vita been Vita for a minute, and he's always going to be Vita. And Kalijah, he's most definitely bringing a quickness, but still with power, like aspect to our front. And I love having him out there. Like once we able to get like more opportunities to really get after the passer, y'all going to see how special he really is. Because we saw it, like he's one of the other guys I've been watching from training camp. Like he had it since he been here, but when the opportunity's not. Like they threw in, they like spread it out a little bit so we can't get our mindset on just rush. We got to play for other things. But once we have a game where we could just rush, y'all going to see Kalijah go crazy. Because I say it all the time. And Vita, Vita going to still do Vita things. And I'm just excited for like them opening up the front that much for us because the center and two guards more than likely going to always be in the middle with them guys. So we always going to have one-on-ones on the outside, maybe a chip from the tight end or a back, but we know we ain't got to worry about the extra offensive lineman coming at all.
That's awesome. We're talking to Shaq Barrett. And how about having Coach Bowles as the head coach and defensive coordinator? What are the things that you like about him as a guy, as a coordinator, what his scheme is, what it does for someone like you in your position and the way that it sets you guys up?
So Coach Bowles always had a brilliant defensive mind since I've been here. Like I loved everything he brings to the table. He's so smart. Like the skill, like he's just so smart. He's a smart defensive, like he's a guru for sure, man. And I'm so excited to still be playing for him because he always set us up to be in the right position to make the plays. He keep and then he so real with us. He keep it real with us. He don't like sugarcoat anything, and that's all you can ask for in our business is just honesty. And Coach Bowles be honest. He'd be brutally honest. He'd be jokingly honest.
Maybe we could do a little less honest,
Yeah, like that's why you can't joke with Coach Bowles too much because his joke gonna come back and there's gonna be a little sting with some truth in it too. So, but yeah, that's why I like Coach Bowles because he's just real and then he's smart. He know the game a lot and then just setting us up. Like when I first got here. Like, he ain't know what he had in me. But then after that, after that first year, we started scheming up and getting me all these different looks from the inside, outside. And then I still go on the inside from time to time now, but it's not as much. But, like, he always scheming and, like, a lot of our plays, a lot of our big successful plays because of the way he had drawn it up and schemed it for us.
For you guys, what do you feel like the goals are going to be for yourself as outside linebackers, defense as a whole, for this final stretch, the things that you really want to see that you guys are able to do to know that you're going to be where you need to be at the end of the season?
We just got to handle the little small stuff that turns into big stuff. Like if you come in outside of a person and there's somebody inside, you stay outside of them, make the proper leverage tackle because then the outside person come inside, don't nobody outside, so they just running, knowing leverage and like pass coverage, if you like knowing where your help at, fitting out gaps right, standing out gaps, not leaving too early before the running back commits, and not beat ourselves with penalties. And I think defensively, I think he said we only had one penalty. Was it one on defense last or one on? I don't know. I think we only had like 3 or 4 penalties last game, so that was getting lower, so that's better. But our mental errors still up there. We got to drop those, and it's all about if we communicate and pay attention during the week, we should be able to drop those down. But they steady there. Like it's something that's like blocking us from taking that next step. And like we know that we got to communicate. We know what we need to do, but I don't know why it's not getting done on a consistent basis. Because it would happen sometimes we communicate, and then I guess we might get a little flustered or they might speed it up a little bit, like a no huddle, and then we don't communicate that well. But I don't know, like I wish I could pinpoint exactly what it was so we could fix it. But I know we're gonna fix like this stuff like leveraging tackles and standing out gaps because that'll get us one step closer to being a better football team.
And we'll close with the most important question so far. We're now in the holiday season, full swing. Tell me, music, movies, food, What are your standout things for you now that it's holiday season?
I love all Thanksgiving food. All of that. I look forward to Thanksgiving so much. And then I'm looking forward to all these new Christmas movies. I know there's a lot of Christmas movies, and I love like family night with the kids. I mean, movie night with the kids. So we're going to have them like, they sleep in our room already. We got them a little bed in our room. So we're going to have a lot of movie nights. And like hot chocolate. But it's Florida, so I don't even get to drink hot chocolate that much. That's why I like Colorado. You know, it's a little more balanced temperature-wise, so you could, oh, I'm cold. Let me go get some hot chocolate. Let me turn the fireplace on and sit in front of the fireplace.
Now you turn it on the TV, the fireplace on the TV.
But yeah, I love the holiday season and just trying to get the kids whatever they want. Spoil them, but don't spoil them too much. You know, find a good balance. And what I hate about the holiday season is putting all the toys together.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
And all the boxes I got to break down. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love all the food because, like, Christmas is kind of like a Thanksgiving with the food, too. Maybe not as many pies and stuff, but ham, no turkey. Ham, green bean casserole, sweet potatoes, potato salad, rolls. I don't like cranberry, like the little cranberry. My wife made like a cherry fluff was pretty good too. But yeah, and presents. You can't go wrong with
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Food and presents.
Shaq, thank you so much for being with us on the show. This has been awesome. We appreciate your time and good luck against the Panthers.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you guys for being with us. This has been Buccaneers Total Access brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio.